Music Online UK.
And that was Lesson in C by Anton Diabelli. Now, the thing that's going to get you the most marks in an exam is observing all the articulation and dynamic markings. First of all, I want you to notice the slur from the first bar over to the second bar. As you can see here, this curvy line goes from this note over to the first note into the next bar. Now, the left hand at the same time needs to lift because of the repeated C's underneath. And because the left hand is lifting, it might be tempting to lift the right hand in sympathy like this. Did you hear that lift on the top A? I'll play it again. And then. But to play it correctly, you need to slur over the bar line onto the first note of the second bar. That is correctly. I'll play it once more incorrectly. Hear the difference? Now, in the third bar, there is a grace note. And in the copy, it marks that this grace note should be on the beat, not before the beat. So, if you play it correctly, it should sound like this. Notice exactly with the left-hand part, you get the grace note. Some people incorrectly might play it. Did you hear that was slightly before the beat? Okay, and then moving on to the end of the phrase, you notice that you need to tail off the second chord in the fourth bar. The same is true in the 8th bar, the 12th bar, the 16th bar, the last bar of each line, basically. So you need to tail off the sound. The second chord needs to be lighter than the first. Now, in the 8th bar, there is a particular problem, and that is the fingering. I prefer to change what is actually suggested in the book. In the 8th bar, the left hand is marked 1 and 2, but I prefer to go to 2 and 3, which would make a perfect legato, a nice smooth transition. However, that would require quite large hands and a big stretch, and if it's going to be sacrificed for uneven playing, so you get not synchronized notes, then it is better to use the one in the book. However, if you do that, then you have a problem with legato itself, because there's a thumb on the F and there's a thumb on the E. And to play two thumbs on separate notes, you need to lift off. So how do you make it sound legato? The way to do it is to make all the other notes around it legato. You just lift the thumb, everything else stays on, and then smoothly go on to the next chord. Lift the thumb, and at speed you hardly notice that lift. Okay, moving on to the second page. Now here, the left-hand part gets quite busy. Okay, and it could be quite easy for that to drown out the tune, like this. That doesn't sound so nice. You need to make sure that the tune is more prominent and the left hand is more subservient. And then softer. Again, making sure that the right hand is more prominent than the left hand. Then, at the end of bar 24, there is a rest in the left hand. So make sure that you let go of the left hand. Hear it again. And off into the next line. There's a rest there. Make sure to observe that. And then finally, you have a repeat of the opening section with a slightly different ending. And that is Lesson in C by Anton Diabelli.